In a glorious day for racing, we're in France for the fourth stage of the 2025 Tour de France. The pageantry, the excitement and the anticipation are high for a surprising and unprecedented display of racing so far. For this year's Tour de France, the teams are ramping up the tension as they all battle for victory. The fans and the worldwide audience have been treated to great racing. Sudal Quickstep, Bora Red Bull, Visma Leasabike, UAE XR and Alpecin de Queninik have dominated the action so far. Mathieu van der Poel, the race leader, one of the day's favourites and holder of the vaunted Maillot Jaune, is primed for battle with none other than the world champion and three-time Tour de France champion Tadej Pogacar and the two-time Tour de France champion Jonas Vingegaard. The anticipation is high. Stage 4 of the Tour de France featured a challenging 174.2 kilometer hilly route from Amiens to Rouen, with a total elevation gain of 2,050 meters. The stage concluded with an explosive sprint finish, where Tadej Pogacar secured his 100th professional victory. Let's review the weather conditions and course profile for this exciting stage. Sit back and enjoy the show, and while you're at it, hit that like button if you like our video.
The weather conditions for Stage 4 were quite pleasant. The sun was out, contributing to a good day for racing. While the course was a bumpy puncher's paradise featuring several categorized climbs towards the end. Temperature. Temperatures ranged from 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. Wind. There was a light breeze of 15 kilometers per hour coming from the northwest. This meant riders faced a crosswind for the initial southwest-bound section of the course, and then a headwind as they turned north towards Rouen. These included Côte Jacques Anquetil, the first categorized climb, listed as 3.5 km at 3.6% average gradient, though it included a 15% section and was an irregular road. It was a tribute to the five-time Tour winner Jacques Anquetil, who lived nearby. Côte de Belleboeuf, La Poterie, a narrow and much harder road, 1.2 km at 10% with 15% midway through some tight bends. Côte de Bonsecours, mainly known for a monument to Jean Robic, 0.9 km at 7.2%. Côte de la Grande Mare, listed as 1.8 km at 5%. Ramp Saint-Hilaire, the final and most decisive climb, a steep wall of 770 meters at no less than 12%, topping out just 5 kilometers from the finish line. This climb had a sudden left turn followed by a right turn into a very small road, making the entry crucial for positioning. Finish. The stage concluded with an urban finish in Rouen, featuring 3 climbs in close succession before a drag to the line. The finish in Rouen itself was slightly uphill. The descent from the final climb was on a bigger boulevard but steep, making it challenging for riders to chase back. The finish line was after a bend to the right with 250 meters to go. The rivalry between UAE Team Emirates XR and Visma Leasabike intensified during Stage 4, with both teams employing aggressive strategies to position their leaders for victory. UAE Team Emirates XRG's strategy and performance. UAE Team Emirates XRG set a brutal pace into the foot of the penultimate climb, the Côte de la Grande Mare, in a clear effort to support Tadej Pogacar. Joao Almeida played a crucial role, stifling an attack from Visma Leasabike's Matteo Jorgensen and leading out Pogacar's for his decisive move. Pogacar's attack on the ramp at Saint-Hilaire was explosive, and he was able to briefly distance his rivals. The team's collective effort, including Jonathan Narvaez, Pavel Sivakov, and Tim Wellens, was instrumental in putting Pogacar in a winning position. Wellens, holder of the polka dot jersey, worked tirelessly on behalf of Pogacar during the stage, further demonstrating the team's strength. Joao Almeida's impact on Tadej Pogacar's victory. Almeida's role was pivotal in 2 key moments during the stage, directly contributing to Pogacar's win. Strategic positioning and attack support. Almeida took over at the front with 5.5 kilometers to go, leading Pogacar as the group approached the steep ramp Saint-Hilaire, which allowed Pogacar to launch his decisive attack. Pogacar himself acknowledged Almeida's crucial work, stating, "Yo did such an amazing job to lead me out until the very end, even if people were attacking." This lead-out ensured that Pogacar was in an optimal position to unleash his power, with only Jonas Vingegaard initially able to follow, countering rivals and maintaining momentum. after Pogacar and Vingegaard were rejoined by a chasing group that included Mathieu van der Poel and Remco Evenepoel, Almeida was back at the front on the run to the finish. He chased down a short-lived move by Matteo Jorgensen, preventing a rival from gaining a significant advantage. By continuing to lead and control the pace, Almeida put van der Poel in prime position, effectively setting up a direct sprint battle between van der Poel and Pogacar, which Pogacar ultimately won. This demonstrated Almeida's ability to not only lead out, but also to strategically counter rival attacks and maintain the team's advantage, allowing Pogacar to conserve energy for his final explosive acceleration. João Almeida's lead-out specifically benefited Tadej Pogacar by strategically positioning him for his decisive attack and conserving his energy for the final sprint in Stage 4 of the Tour de France. His absolute dedication to Tadej is exemplary, and Tadej has come to depend on João to prime up his rivals for Tadej to finish the job. Visma-Lease, a bike's strategy and performance. Visma Leasabike's classic-style squad made their presence felt in the technical finale, with Victor Kampenaerts setting a blistering pace and reducing the front group to about 25 riders within the final 10 kilometers. Matteo Jorgensen attempted a couple of short attacks to get clear and win the stage solo, aiming to be a hidden ace for the team ahead of the time trial. Jonas Vingegaard, despite being briefly dropped by Pogacar's attack on the ramp Saint-Hilaire, showed impressive strength by regaining contact and staying with his rival. Visma Leasabike's strategy aimed to put pressure on Pogacar and exploit the technical sections of the course. Performance summary: Bora Hansgrohe and Sudal Quickstep. The stage proved challenging for other prominent teams and their leaders. Bora Hansgrohe Red Bull Primož Roglič, the leader for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, struggled in the stage's hilly finale. He finished 32 seconds behind the winner in 18th place and is now 12th overall, 1 minute and 27 seconds behind the race leader. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe attributed some of Roglic's issues on Stage 4 to a derailleur problem. Roglic needs to turn his fortunes around, as he is slowly losing the initiative he needs to compete against Remco, Jonas, and Tadej. Remco Evenepoel of Sudal Quickstep lost 3 seconds at the finish, placing him 9th overall, 58 seconds behind the race leader. While he was able to join the chasing group that reeled in Pogacar and Vingegaard, he could not maintain contact in the final sprint. The final 5 kilometers of Stage 4 were a roller coaster of action, characterized by intense attacks and strategic maneuvers. Tadej Pogacar launched an explosive attack on the Rampe Saint-Hilaire. Jonas Vingegaard was the only rider initially able to follow this powerful surge. Despite Pogacar's efforts, a chasing group led by Remco Evenepoel and including Mathieu van der Poel, João Almeida, Matteo Jorgensen, and Oscar Onley successfully rejoined the two leaders on the descent. This regrouping set the stage for a grandstand finish. Fortunately for Pogacar, João Almeida was there for his captain and his presence would not go unnoticed and would be impactful. Matteo Jorgensen initiated a move, attempting a solo attack for the win. However, his efforts were quickly shut down by João Almeida, who then led the charge up the final 5% ramp. Mathieu van der Poel, positioned in Almeida's wheel, launched his sprint with just over 150 meters remaining. For a moment, it appeared he might secure his second stage win. However, Pogacar, coming from van der Poel's slipstream, found another gear and surged past him in the final 20 meters, claiming his 100th career victory in an explosive sprint finish. Vingegaard finished the stage in 3rd place. Has Jonas jeopardized his campaign for a moral victory? Stay tuned for my colleagues' encapsulation of the stage and a deeper look at the potential consequences of the expenditure of so much energy in these early stages.
2 thoughts regarding the performance of Visma Leasabike and UAE XR. Both squads delivered for their leaders. Visma's performance leading up to the final climb was superlative. Specifically, Tish Benoot, Victor Kampenaerts, and Matteo Jorgensen did everything they could to disrupt UAE XR and Tadej Pogacar. The pressure they inflicted was intense and was breathtaking to witness. However, the UAE squad was up for the challenge. Pavel Sivakov, Marc Soler, Jonathan Narvaez, Tim Wellens and Joao Almeida stood out and earned their leaders deep respect for thwarting Visma and Jonas Vingegaard's effort to slow Tadej Pogacar. Joao Almeida and Matteo Jorgensen had their own personal battle on behalf of their leaders, and Joao's performance was noteworthy, as was Matteo's. The other thought that must be discussed is the cost of the high performance by Jonas Vingegaard so early in the Tour. He is the only one willing and able to go with Pogacar when he attacks, but how many matches has he burned up? Tadej seems to be in total control and is dictating the action, while Jonas is forced to counterattack to stay with Pogacar. Is Jonas already tapping into his reserves in an effort to keep Tadej within reach, or is this inside the strategy of Jonas and Visma? The action is intense, and these first 4 stages have been outstanding, with the GC teams very much in the mix of the action with the sprinter teams. Time will tell if this gambit by Jonas will be able to be maintained, or if it will lead to a catastrophic collapse by Jonas and Visma. One last thought. Where are Sepp Kuss and Wout van Aert? Are they being saved for the mountains? Their presence has been limited. Stay tuned for more Tour de France action here on Lobo Racing, as this tale of champions is just getting started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share if you're enjoying our recaps. Thank you.